Hi, it's Cory, and today you're going to learn how to play Here Comes the Sun by the Beatles. I'm so excited for this tutorial because not only are you going to be learning in a really easy way how to play Here Comes the Sun by the Beatles, but you're also going to be learning the really popular lick that takes place in the song right at the end of the chorus. First things first though, if you haven't already, make sure to hit subscribe so that you always know when I come out with a new video. Also, if you're interested in the lead sheets for this song or having the tabs for this song, make sure to check them out on my Patreon, and all that information will be in the description box below. So let's get started. First things first, you're going to want to make sure your ukulele is in tune. That's going to be a G on the 4th string, a C on the 3rd string, an E on the 2nd string, and an A on the 1st string. Today I'm going to be using this Enya Nova Mini U travel ukulele. If you'd like to see an entire review on this ukulele, I will have it linked in the cards. I'll also have a link for where you can find it yourself down in the description box too. So in total, you need to know 6 different chords for this song, and the first one you're going to need is an A7 chord. To make the A7, you're taking your first finger and you're placing it on the 1st fret, 3rd string. You also need a B flat major chord. So to make that, you're taking your first finger and then on the 1st and 2nd strings of the 1st fret, you're going to bar down. So take your thumb here and make sure it's placed right behind that 1st finger on the back of the fretboard. Then you're going to take your 2nd finger, place it on the 3rd string, 2nd fret, and your 3rd finger is going to go on the 3rd fret, 4th string. And there's your B flat major. If you would all need any additional help on making that chord in particular, make sure to check the cards. I have a video all about how to play barred chords that gives you some really great tips and tricks to make them more successful for you. Next, you're gonna need to know how to play the C major chord. For that, you're taking your 3rd finger and then placing it on the 1st string, 3rd fret. You're also going to need a D7 chord. Now this is the easy version of the D7. So the way you're going to make that is taking your 1st finger, placing it on the 2nd fret, 4th string, and then your 2nd finger is going on the 2nd fret, 2nd string. You also need an F major chord. For that, you're taking your 1st finger, placing it on the 2nd string, 1st fret, and then you're taking your 2nd finger, placing it on the 2nd fret, 4th string. And lastly, you need a G major chord. For that, you're taking your 1st finger, placing it on the 2nd fret, 3rd string. Your 2nd finger is going on the 2nd fret, 1st string, and then your 3rd finger is going on the 3rd fret, 2nd string. Now, just as a little tip for the chords, you're often going to be transitioning from a G chord to that D7 back to the G chord, and a really easy way of that transition is keeping those 2 fingers, 1 and 2, in the same position. All you're doing is you're skipping a string over. So here's where they are for that G chord, and then you're skipping over 1 string each on the D7, and then you're already in that position. The only difference here is you're gonna have to just lift up that 3rd finger, but you don't need to lift up your hand completely. So you can see my transition here from the G chord. I'm just lifting my 3rd finger, skipping over, and then I'm gonna go back to the G major chord. All I'm doing is skipping back over and placing my 3rd finger down. It's really easy when you start to really think about kind of the movements that you need to take when transitioning between the 2 chords, and that's one that happens very frequently in the song, so just something to keep in mind. So for strumming pattern, we're just going to be sticking with the basic island strum. If you're not already familiar with what that island strum is, if it hasn't already come out, when it does, I have a video all about the island strum. I'll make sure it's linked in the cards when it is ready, if it's not out already. But what that is it's just a down, down, up, down, up. And we're not going to be doing any chucking with this song. You totally could if you'd like. However, this song in particular has much more of acoustic feel, and typically when that is the case, you just keep it with a regular strum. So the strumming pattern is then going to be, like I said, that down, down, up, down, up. Slower, it's down, down, up, down, up. And we're going to continue that throughout the entire song. So the transition for the intro then would sound like this: on the G to the C to the D7 back to the G would be like this. To the C, to the D7, back back to the G. We're just repeating now to the C, to the D7, to the G. So you can hear it has that really nice easy flow of down, down, up, down, up, which really works well because this is such a happy song and it really just kind of puts a skip in your step and a smile in your heart. Space in your face. The only section in which the strumming pattern is going to change at all is going to be during the bridge. But the great thing about that is you're just playing on the chord changes until you get back to the G. That bridge is going to be sun, 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 here it comes. So you can hear I have chord, 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 hear it, then strumming pattern. And you just repeat that over and over and over again. And a little bit of a tip with the transition between that B flat into the F is the shape is very, very similar. So here's my B flat here. All I'm doing is shifting the second finger over one string and I'm lifting up my first finger from barring just to playing on that second string. And that makes it for a really easy transition. And then you're just moving to that C into the G. If you're not quite ready to move on, like if you don't feel like you have that strumming pattern mastered, if you wanted to start practicing, you could just play on the beat or on the chord changes as well. And that's a lot easier of a strum that you can focus on something like you're singing or like playing the chords if you don't have those quite at a mastery level. Once you are at that mastery level, and what I mean by that is that you don't necessarily need to look at all the chord charts for the chords and you don't need to look at the strumming pattern to be able to play the pattern, then you're ready to start looking at the lick. Now, the lick I'm talking about in this song is what happens at the very end of the chorus sections. I'm going to be presenting this to you using tabs. If you haven't already learned how to read tab yet, I do have a video all about that just came out, so make sure to check that out and familiarize yourself with it. So we actually have two different ways you can play this lick. The whole lick altogether sounds like this. And then you go back into the chords. Now, what that is you're going 2, 4 on the string of 3, then you have a 3 on string 2, 0 on 1, back to your 2 on string 3, back to your 3 on string 2, back to your 0 on string 1, back to your 2, but you're actually just going to be open picking this on 0 on the 3rd string, then again 3 on 2, and then open 1, back to your 2 on string 3, back to your 3 on string 2, back to your 0 on string 1, and then you're going back to that 2nd string. You have playing it on 3, and then 2, and then open back to 2 on 3. As I was picking through all that, you can see how that matches up with the tabs below here. I was using my thumb, pointer finger, and middle finger to pluck here. What I like to do is I like to assign a string for each finger. So for this particular pattern, because I'm not using the 4th string at all, the string of G, I assign my thumb to string 3, my pointer finger to string 2, and my ring finger to string 1. So if there was anything I had to pluck using the 3rd string, I'm only using my thumb, then so on with others. When practicing this, go slowly. And again, it goes off of the idea that you know how the lick is supposed to sound. It's just giving you the instructions on how to actually play it. If using 3 individual fingers is too much for you, you could just play this all with your thumb as well. And what you're doing is everything the same with the left hand. The only difference is you can do this second way with just your thumb. The way you're gonna do that is by just essentially strumming down the entire time, going 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1. And then the only thing is at the very end and the very beginning is when it changes up a little bit. So all together, it sounds like this. Okay? I prefer it using my 3 fingers, and it's probably the more correct way to play it. And when I say correct, I really am using the parentheses here because there's no 100% correct way how to play anything really. Even the recommended fingerings that I provide to you or you see on chord charts and stuff, those are all just recommendations. They're what work for other people. And while I say that with kind of like the idea of the people that are recommending it are like professionals that know what they're doing, again, it's really what works for you. So if using your thumb the entire time works best for you, then use your thumb. If using your 3 fingers works best for you, do that. Or if you are looking at this lick and you're like, this is not for me, what am I doing with my life? No way. Then just don't play it. You can 100% just skip the lick when it comes to that in the song, and that's okay too. I'm gonna be doing the licks for the playthrough though, so you can see how everything fits together. You may wanna drop the strumming pattern a beat early or so to give yourself plenty of time to transition into that lick. It's not gonna be weird, it's gonna sound totally fine. But the big thing that I need to remind you of is right after the lick gets done, do not pause when you're in this position with your second finger on the second string, second fret. Don't pause here and hold it. Just go right into that chord. So you notice I pluck and then I hit the G major. Do not lift up that finger. Just pluck, hit the G major. Don't waste extra time bringing your whole hand up and then having to figure out how to get into that G position again. Just keep your finger there. And then you're on the strumming pattern to that D7. I would also say when practicing this lick, it's okay if you don't do it perfect right away. It's okay if you work up to this. Licks are something that I have to work on a little bit more than I would with just normal strumming patterns and things like that too, just because I haven't been doing it for as long as I've been playing other things in general. So when you come across any new skill, it's okay that if it doesn't happen right away, that's all right. Just pick it up the next day. And in fact, I would never really recommend spending more than say like 10 to 15 minutes working on something anyway, because at that point, you're not probably gaining as much as you are losing due to like frustration or just, you know, fatigue from practicing something over and over and over again. So practice the lick for like of your entire 10 to 15 minute practice time working on a song. Spend maybe 5 minutes working on it, just repeating it, making sure you're transitioning from the G going into it and the G that you end on too. Those are the really big important parts there. And then just piecing it together as you go. You have the chords, you have the strumming pattern, and you have the lick too. So the last part is just putting it all together. Now, like I said before, you could completely omit the lick and that would be 100% okay. In the playthrough, I'm going to have all the parts put together, but again, it's very optional. Let's give it a playthrough. If any of this didn't totally seem to make sense to you, watch the playthrough and take it little chunk by chunk. Please don't feel like you have to watch this and be able to play it perfectly. And if you can, that's awesome for you. So let's give it a go. 1, 2, here we go.
Little darling, it's been a
I hope you found this tutorial helpful for learning how to play Here Comes the Sun by the Beatles. I think you have a lot of different options here to make the song what you want it to be, whether you want it with the lick or you want it without, and based on where your skill level is at the moment. If you did like this tutorial, make sure to give it a thumbs up and also comment down below and let me know, are you going to go for the lick? Did you find the lick too easy for you or too hard? Let me know. I want to make materials that are working best for my viewers, and I'm trying to give you some more challenging tutorials and things to do in this new year. So make sure to let me know your thoughts, or even if you have a really favorite Beatles song that you'd like to see if maybe I can do like a playthrough or tutorial for during this month as we are having a Beatles month. I hope you are doing great, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.